round for the WBO light middleweight title. Is Bronco McKart going to lose this title in front of his home fans in Monroe, Michigan?
Well, he just seems to have run out of ideas of how to get to Wright. He really has to think of something to try and stop that jab, to get past it, to land his own punches. And I think he's just waited too much. He really needs to get in there now and start to mix it up a little bit. Try to make Wright now have a fight with him.
Rather in the way that you did when you were behind against Cesar Macatini in that memorable title defense, Glenn. Remember how you turned that one around? He needs something desperate like that, doesn't he?
He needs something. He needs to really just go out there, get Wright on the back foot, and really just pull this fight away from him.
The 8th round, and things are getting a bit serious, I would say, for Bronco McKart, who let that right hand go low. I would think even a judge with a blindfold on here must have Wright ahead. Wouldn't bet on it, but you'd think so.
Well, even when he's boxing in McKart's hometown, you've got to feel that they will be going for Wright. He's just throwing a greater quantity of punches. You know, although McKart has caused quite a few of the jabs, so many are still getting through.
At the moment, McKart is looking dangerously like a fighter who's run out of ideas. And he's up against a pretty durable man here, too, in Wright. There's not too much hope of taking him out with one shot or anything like that. Because remember, he went the distance with Julio Cesar Vasquez, even though he was on the floor 6 times in the fight in his previous world title attempt, Wright.
Again, McKart is pushing forward. He's trying to get off with hooks from time to time. But still, just the greater quantity of jabs are landing from McKart.
Well, he's walking forward, McKart, but he's not doing anything when he walks forward.
He needs to throw punches. He needs to feint. He needs to do something.
That's Jackie Callan, McKart's manager, and looking a little concerned, as well she might.
Now that was better for McKart as he got to a series of punches going. Good concentration from Wright. He really found his rhythm here.
Well, Wright's in charge, all right. Well, they've been showing Bronco McKart, the champion, pictures of his late grandfather, holding them in front of his face. Apparently he was in the military, and they're obviously desperately trying to motivate him now.
Yes, they know he really has to lift his performance here. He's got to bring something else out.
Well, there you are. That's what happened between the rounds. Jackie Callan, the manager, showing him the pictures. So they obviously feel that desperate situations require desperate measures.
But it's very difficult. When a fighter just can't get into gear, it's very difficult midway through a fight for him then to pick up the pace and slip into the right gear. And he just can't quite do it, McKart. But I think that the answer is that Wright always has that jab in his face. He's always keeping McKart off balance.
That reminds me of when Mickey Duff had the priest in the corner with John Mugabe, and he kept saying, if you won't listen to me, listen to the father.
That's
remember
right.
that?
That's right. Often managers, trainers have done things like that, have taken steps like that to try and motivate a fighter, to try and spark something up in his subconscious that'll bring the best out of him.
Yes, so and examples of fighters have been told, how are you going to tell your children in the morning that you've lost your world title? And that sometimes has done the trick.
Yes, I remember Angelo Dundee telling Sugar Ray Leonard that he was blowing it. It was all over. You're blowing it, kid. And he came back to knock Thomas Hearns out.
Meanwhile, in round 9 here, a very confident and increasingly confident Wright. McKart starting to let the hooks go. He really does need to gamble, you feel.
And this is a little better from McKart, just starting to pick it up, catching a few of the jabs there, but again, Wright just lifts his performance. A really good performance from Wright.
Is this the big night for Ronald Wright, the 24-year-old from Florida? Obviously prepared very meticulously for this long and hard ride. He came in at 10 stone 12, 2 pounds under the limit.
Yes, he's obviously done lots of road work. He's worked that heavy jab so hard with the jab, but he's moving well. He's really got his gear, got his rhythm here.
He's giving McKart a boxing lesson for my money here. Now, didn't connect there. Some of the crowd thought he did. Bell went in between all that all. In our house, I think they mean that Wright isn't going to take away the title in McKart's backyard, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on that being right myself at the moment.
Well, I've got Wright in about a 4-round lead here, so really McKart needs to do something a little bit special. He needs some very good work if he's going to keep the title.
More than that, he needs a knockout if your scorecard's right.
That's right, he needs to win inside the distance. But he's picking it up, he's starting this round. I think somebody's told him he needs a knockout.
Ain't no more tomorrow. Look in. Let's get that thing done.
Well, that was what Bill Miller was saying to McKart between the rounds. There ain't no more tomorrow. The speed of Wright has worked so well for him. Much better from McKart, but he needs more of it. Quite a lot more, in fact. Wright must have covered miles in that ring tonight, finding angles to throw his high-velocity jabs.
Yes, I think that's the answer. He's moved so well. He's kept changing the angles, changing direction, but he's also used the jab constantly as he's done that. And now really, a fighter, it's so difficult to get set when there's a punch constantly landing in your face.
Been a disappointing performance, really, from McKart in front of his home fans, because you'd think that a top world-class operator would have found a few more answers than this.
Yes, you would have thought he could have. He's just been a little bit one-paced. I think his people realize that. That's why they tried so hard to motivate him. They know there's something else in him. They know he can lift his game, but at this moment, he just can't do that.
Whatever they're doing in the corner, it isn't working. But give full credit to Ronald Wright's performance here in his second world title attempt. We have him a long way ahead, and it's getting late, very late, 10th round. Well, that's better from McKart, starting to let the leather fly. Good atmosphere between the fighters. But the crowd are really trying to lift McKart to a special big finale.
McKart got a little bit more fire in his belly in that round. He tried to have a fight, and he did a lot better. Just looking as if Wright was starting to tire a little.
Got body inside. Work. Don't pull back out in range. Got to go around the liver. Stay close. Don't grab him. Don't grab him. More than hard. He's got the 2 more rounds.
How did he score that last round? Difficult one. Might have been
It could have been even. I think McKart may have even just stole it. He just looked to try and throw more. He looked to try and have a fight. And I think Wright was just a little more tight in that round.
Come on, 2 rounds. You're the champion.
Well, he's obviously not been eating too much of that pizza that we're told he's fond of. Pizza and girls, his weaknesses, they say. One or two fighters have trained in nightclubs down the years. Some of them quite successful.